Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's Daily Recap is for Thursday, June the 12th, 2025. OMG. Michael won. Michael won. Yes. Okay, what I'm going to do is I've got two clips, but I'm going to split them up because I can't play scenes that are too long through the video. So, anyway, let's dive right in and see how this happened. Now, one thing I noticed when I was listening back, the two clips are going to come in the audio much louder than my talking here. So, everybody, turn your volume down a bit as you're listening to them and then turn them back up when you hear me, okay? Oh my God, I was biting my nails. Oh, Lord have mercy. So let's go right on ahead to these clips.
Different factors to be considered when determining custody of two young children such as Wiley and Amelia. But what it all comes down to is which parent is better suited to provide a safe and secure environment for the children. Which parent will put the welfare and best interests of Wiley and Amelia above all else. As stated during this hearing, Mrs. Corinthos, with the exception of a few weeks, has had exclusive custody of both children since December 16th, 2024. In that time, she has moved them from home to home 4 different times. She transported Wiley across state lines without his father's knowledge and chose to have him sleep in the same hotel suite as her and Congressman Kane. Furthermore, in the wake of Mr. Corinthos' catastrophic injuries, Mrs. Corinthos made no attempt to promote contact between the children and their father. In addition, Mrs. Corinthos filed paperwork giving legal guardianship to Congressman Kane, ignoring Mr. Corinthos' custodial rights. Mrs. Corinthos has demonstrated a consistent pattern of negligence regarding her children's emotional well-being, often violating the law in the process. At the same time, Mr. Corinthos has testified that he is fully recovered from his injuries and is capable of caring for his children along with the support of his many family members. Consequently, it is the decision of this court to award full physical and legal custody to the children's father, Michael Corinthos.
Did you see that, everybody? Absolutely yes. Yes, the judge named everything that Willow did. Now, did the judge say Willow Corinthos had an affair with Drew Cade? No. Did she say Michael Corinthos had an affair with Sasha? No. Because where custody is concerned, that doesn't matter. It's what you've done with the. Oh my God. I have never felt so vindicated, finally. Now, Drew, she's naming all these things, Nina is looking at him and he's like, well, yeah. Yeah, Drew. Now, before I show the scene, and the scene is Willow's reaction, I actually got a little teary eyed, y'all, and I'll probably get a little teary eyed again because I'm watching this. I'm a grandmother now, but I was a mother. I'm watching this as a mother and how I would feel with my children being ripped away from me. And I'm a deer looking into the headlights as Willow is. Because you're going to hear her first question to Rick. Because Did y'all understand what the judge just said a moment ago? Did you get it? Well, Willow didn't get it. Go figure. Because Drew didn't tell it to her, right? Only thing she had going on in her head is Drew said you gonna win. Drew said you gonna win. Drew said you have won. Uh-huh. Nothing else could come into that empty space up there for her. But now, before I go to that, I have to talk about this. It got leaked on Instagram, the judge's decision. Now, yeah, in Comment Corner, we didn't know if it was going to be a lie, if it was going to be true. You know how sometimes they'll leak stuff, and actually, very rarely know. When it's storylines, ones that are coming to a head, the actors cannot leak what's going to happen. You might hear them get on and say, oh, unexpected, something unexpected. But to leak, that son of a, you know what word comes next? Cameron Matheson. See, this is why I don't like him as an actor, right? This whole Drew, that's not no, that's him, everybody. Let's be real. That's his own ego because he now has a say in the writing of Drew. That's him. Gets on Instagram and says, Michael is going to be awarded custody. Somebody bribed the judge. It wasn't me. Did you get the feeling, everybody? The judge was bribed? I know I didn't. See, that's a bit of information that the soap is not ready for us to know if, in fact, it was true, right? He just tainted and spoiled, really tried to spoil today for us, trying to be big man on campus. Well, you know what? Somebody should have bribed the judge. Are we all those of us that wanted Michael to win, do we care? Good. Somebody better have bribed the judge. We know it wasn't Carly. We know it wasn't Jason. It wasn't Michael. I would say it wasn't Sonny. I would say that. Because see, if Sonny gonna bribe a judge, it's in his own trials. He hasn't done that yet. Now, Tracy will bribe a judge in a heartbeat. Jack Brennan, who we haven't seen, would bribe and not really bribe the judge, strong arm the judge. But you know what? That shouldn't even be in our mind if the judge was bribed or not Cameron Matheson. Now, I'm under no mindset or delusion that you watch these daily recaps. However, shame on you. Shame on you for trying to burst the bubble of us GH fans like that. That's a no-no. Anyway, now let's look at the scene on how Willow react. The actress that plays Willow, oh, she acted her butt off here. She got me and probably gonna get me crying again just watching it again. So let me turn off my camera and let's share my screen again. And we're gonna watch this scene.
I don't understand what's happening.
We lost Willow.
No, that can't be right. Tell the judge she has to reconsider.
No, I'm sorry. It's
Your Honor, please. You can't give my kids to Michael. They're my children. They belong with me.
Hey, control yourself, okay? Apologies, Your Honor. My client's merely expressing her desire for us to have a generous visitation schedule.
That will be negotiated at a later hearing following the children's consultation with a psychiatrist.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
That's it? Rick,
I'm sorry.
do something.
It's okay,
Do
Willow.
something.
Willow,
Fight
it's
this.
okay.
No, I'm not okay. This is a huge mistake. You can't take my kids. They need me. They have to be with me. No.
Court counselor, please restrain your
Yes, right.
client.
Look, please, you have to control yourself. Yelling at the judges aren't going to make things worse.
How did you do this? Michael cheated on me with Sasha. He had a baby with her. All I have done is love my children and try to do what's best for them. This isn't right. It is not right.
Court is adjourned. Bailiff, please clear the courtroom.
No, Michael, please. Wiley and Amelia need their mom. Don't, please, tell the judge. She made a terrible mistake. Please.
You need to go, Frank.
No. Michael, I'm begging you. They need me. I'm their mother. Please, Michael, please.
Please, we have to try to calm down.
Take something. I don't know what's happening with me. Leave me alone. I love them so much. They can't do this. I can't take my children from me.
Okay, there we have it. There we have it. She looked at Rick and said, I don't understand what's happening. If Wiley would have been in the courtroom, everybody, Wiley would have understood what was happening. You, you see that? Andrew, Willow, it's okay. Oh my God. Yeah, it's not okay. So, what I didn't, because I can't keep cutting in anyway. As they leave, and Nina gets her up from the floor. They sit her in a chair, and Rick gives her some water, and she's sitting there, like completely in shock, completely having a breakdown, completely doing something, right? And she looked at Drew and she said, You said I wouldn't lose my kids. And he's looking, yeah, you did say that. You said that, Drew. Because she said the most important thing to me are my children. But see, you can smugly have it all, Willow. You can sign over guardianship. You can just do it all because Drew and I simply fell in love. Drew and I created a stable home for the children. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, where Willow is concerned, I don't feel bad for her at all. Now, they wheel her into GH. She's in a wheelchair because as they get up, Drew says, Let's get you home, Willow. Let's get you home. And she's looking dazed at Nina and him. And they're walking her out the door, and she passes out, right? So the next scene, it shows them wheeling her into GH. Okay, and I have a picture of that, right? Elizabeth's talking to her, and she's verbally non-responsive. She just shell, right? And Elizabeth says, I'm gonna get you in a room. We're gonna get you comfortable. Is that okay? And she's like, so Willow takes her. And Drew looks at Nina, and Elizabeth gets him settled. And he's like, she comes back and she says, listen, we are going to, we got an IV in Willow to get her hydrated, but we're going to have to do a psych eval on her. And Drew's like, is that really necessary? And she goes, yes, because Willow is non responsive verbally. So yes, as a precaution. Oh, okay. Well, can I go in and be with Willow? And Nina's looking at him. And Liz says, well, no, not right now. Willow is calm. She's resting. She's got her IV in her. We need her evaluated first. Okay. And after the evaluation, we'll see if she's fit for visitors. So Drew and Nina are sitting on, a bench, and you know how they have benches in hallways. And he's like, I don't understand what happened. And Nina looked at him and said, you're what happened. She may have even said that before Elizabeth came back. You're what happened. She goes, didn't you hear what the judge said? You had Willow transport Wiley over state lines. You had Willow. Oh, she just laid it down. And she should have said, and you tried to mentally abuse, and you did mentally abuse Wiley. That just didn't come out. And he looked at her like, don't blame this on me. Right? So then they're sitting down, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go in and sit next to Willow. And Nina stood, she goes, no, you are not. And he's looking at her like, who are you? She said, you have done enough. You took a wrecking ball to my daughter's marriage. And now she's lost her kids. She says, the doctor, or, Elizabeth said nobody can be in there, and you ain't going in there. She says, if you love my daughter the way you claim to love my daughter, you will walk away from Willow right now and never look back. And he just looked at her like, Shine about to do that. And Drew Kane is not about to do that, right? But we will see what else happens in the conversation tomorrow. Now, Willow is wakes up from her nightmare, and she's reliving what she heard in the trial. And she's looking like, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah, yeah. But you want to know what scares me, everybody? See the way soaps are? And they better not do this? Who else is in the hospital? Sasha and her baby. Willow is going to snap, and Willow's going to take that baby. They better not write it that way, because there's no need to write it that way. Now, I heard, or there's rumors, that Willow's supposed to find out about Drew and Nina. Now, are they going to be arguing about it in the hallway? Because right now they're arguing in the hallway. Is Willow going to get out of bed? And is Drew going to say something like, look at you. You think you always just want to be in charge. You so busy, can't get over the fact that you and I slept together. Something's going to, I want to know what's going to happen to cause that to come out. And I hope it comes out Cliffhanger Friday. Willow needs to be hit with all of this now. She needs to be. See, so she can have a nice, complete little breakdown. And then cleanse herself and rid herself of Drew, get some therapy, right? So she can start rebuilding her life. That's what she needs. So Carly, Michael, and Jason, they go back to Carly's house. And Michael was just like, I definitely needed to win custody of my kids. But seeing Willow like that, he says, I never wanted her to hurt like that. And so Carly said, I know it broke my heart to see her like that, to hear that reaction. And Jason's just like shaking his head. He goes, Jason's like, oh, that's all on Drew. Drew's responsible for the whole thing. Mm. And they just looked. He goes, but now I have to tell my kids that they're not going to be seeing their mother. So they did have a scene where Michael's out on the patio and he's talking to Wiley. And he lets him know that they went to court and explained what that was, and that the judge awarded him and Amelia, you know, that they stay with him. He said, so you won't be seeing your mommy for a while, but I love you, buddy. I love you and Amelia so much. Okay. And he says, and when your mommy gets better, then you'll be able to see her. And Wiley shook his head like, oh, okay, okay. Almost like, daddy got burned really bad. He didn't say that. And when daddy gets better, you'll be able to see him. Okay. So Wiley hugs his father, and Michael says, I love you so much, buddy. I love you. Okay. And he's like, okay, okay. Yeah. I have to say, I have to interject this. I'm loving this new Michael. Loving him. Let me look up his name real quick because I can't remember his doggone name. Corey Gibson playing the heck out of Michael. It's so funny. He is so seamless as Michael. I feel he's Michael Corinthos. He is the embodiment of Michael. And so kudos to you, Corey. Excellent, excellent job. You bringing it, buddy. And thank you for that. But do you see how they needed to bring the character of Michael back? It was just too much pivotal stuff hanging on it for him to still be gone. So I do have to say they did it the right way. Go figure. Now, um, I'm just going to do some bullet points. I'm not going to talk about it. Laura talks to Alexis about looking into the fact does Elizabeth have a good case for a lawsuit for the insurance company in that car. So we know what Alexis is going to do. She goes, I trust your judgment. She goes, Martin feels that there is, but Martin really needs money. So I can't necessarily trust my brother's overzealousness in this matter. She goes, I need you to look into it and give me your honest opinion. So, of course, Alexis ends up saying yes. Cody makes some inroads with Ava. Ava has always liked younger men, always. Okay, so we shall see where that goes. Rick goes to the hospital. He's talking to Elizabeth at the nurse's station, and he says, this losing this case today, he says, it really affected me. He said, if you would have witnessed what I witnessed in that courtroom, he said, oh, oh. And Elizabeth says, well, I'll bet to have a mother's children ripped away from her like that. And so she reaches over and she holds Rick's hand, you know, for a few minutes. And he's looking down at her hand. I'm thinking, there you go, Rick. There you go. Right? Now, Christina does tell Alexis what her plan is. And she goes, and it's working like a charm. Ava's already uh, bit the bait. And Alexis has said, this is going to be like every one of your other plans. It's going to fall. It's going to fail. And she goes, no. She says, I thought this one out. She says, like you said, we need Rick and Ava to turn on each other. If Ava puts her attention on Cody, Rick she said, now that Lucky is gone, so obviously they didn't show it, but of course Lucky told her. Now that Lucky's gone, says Rick is gonna definitely go after Elizabeth. And Ava's gonna be so jealous of that. She goes, see, now the division is gonna start. And she's right. 100% right about that. Right? But whatever. Now, Natalia, this is what they've written in that didn't exist. She tells Sonny about the ADA. And he goes, well, that's fine because you have nothing. You don't know anything about my business. And she said, well, when I got fired from deception, I have some files that I kept on my home computer. I mainly kept them for insurance. That if something were to happen after I left, they can't come back and blame me. I have the condition the company was in when I left. And he goes, okay, that's fine, but that still has nothing to do with me. She says, Sonny, as I went over your investment into the company, looking over every aspect of where the money came from, there are little holes in the chain of where that money actually came from. And he looked at her. She says, yeah, it's enough for a slap on the hand. She says, but it's also, and he goes, enough for the ADA to subpoena all my financial records. And she says, and if she does that, now we know they'll be putting you away for years. So Sonny looked at her and said, what, you gonna try to blackmail me? And she goes, no, I would never do that. That's why I'm coming to you first. I have until 3 p.m. tomorrow to give her an answer because I told her that I don't have you didn't discuss your business with me. And she told me to think about it and find something. So she says, I'm coming to you for help. Help to get us both out of this. And so he goes, okay. He says, I'll get on it. I'll make sure both of us are protected. Because she goes, I have priors. And this third time could send me away for 5 years. Well, see, guess what? Those priors are those Sonny's fault. You see what she's done? And so he goes, when they get out the car, she goes, I'm so happy that you're willing to help because Sonny, I really don't want to be used as a pawn against you. You don't. Oh, sure you don't. Right? So she hugs him. She says, I'm so happy you're going to be helping because I felt alone and I had nowhere to turn. And it shows him, she's hugging him and it's showing Sonny's face and he's thinking like, yeah, I'm going to get out of this. And then for sure, cutting ties with this chick because she says, so do you think our friendship can get back to where it was? He said, let me work on getting us out of this. Okay. Okay. If she has proven she will keep evidence, she's going to always gather and keep evidence on you. Like she said, I needed insurance. Mm-mm. So Sonny will get them out of this mess, hot mess, because all that is, let's be real, everybody, is given those files, copy of those files that she has. See, she has a copy, which means Deception has the originals, okay? But they only have what Sonny and Natalia provided them. They don't have an origin story. Now, they need to give that file to Brick, and Brick will recreate an entire history of where each and every line item came from, right? And he might even say, Diane, get Natalia off. But in reality, the son shouldn't represent the mother. He could say, look, I want you to represent Natalia in this because, her interest is my interest. And he could tell her, because I don't want this ADA is after me and I don't need Natalia saying anything. Okay. So that's an easy fix, but they're giving Natalia some kind of relevance. But you know what, everybody who feels like me, do you think Natalia was trying to set Sonny up? Do you think the ADA was listening? Was Natalia wired? I don't know. That story sounded a little too convenient for me. It just really did. That it's not setting right with me. But okay, she did ask him to meet her in the hospital parking lot. She said, "Because we should not be seen together." He goes, "Oh, thus in the hospital parking lot, right? Versus at a park. Rather, everybody always does stuff in public, but that's kind of semi public, right?" So we'll see where that goes, and nothing else matters. That we all have got a lot to talk about on Saturday. Tomorrow I'm going to do that test run to see if my audio comes through. But everybody, I had to come on, get this video out early because, mind you, I didn't even finish the editing for my Beyond the Gates. Normally, I edit, record both videos at the same time and upload them one after another. But I had to come on and I had to talk about General Hospital. So I'll be back tomorrow for Cliffhanger Friday.